Hello, sweet people. It is Erin the Psychic Witch, and I am here with your Mercury Retrograde Survival Guide. I have a few things, now having gone through Mercury Retrograde a bajillion times consciously. I've noticed some things that I think most people tend to overlook with the general vibe. I'm really happy to see that teachers have been teaching this very stuff and people are starting to get it through their head that Mercury retrograde is not the end of the world. It's actually just a really nice cleansing cycle that we go through every once in a while. Like 3 times a year? 4 times a year? I don't even know. Technicalities are not my thing. Overarching themes, totes my thing. So, the first thing I want to go into about Mercury retrograde, a blessing that you may not know occurs during this time on a psychic level, is that while you may not be invited by the universe to start something brand new, you are absolutely invited to and set up to receive a lot of the blessings that maybe you couldn't receive the last time this cycle was around. So if you were trying to manifest something specifically at the time and you kept kind of tripping and falling short of fulfilling that desire, this could be the time around that you can pick up the lessons, pick up the blessings, pick up the aha moments, revisit some of this stuff from a new, more informed perspective. So expect that, look for that, get excited about that, because it is a real beautiful part of Mercury retrograde. So the other thing that happens with Mercury retrograde that gets illuminated is communication breakdowns and issues. Just this morning, I had a longtime client of mine book a session, and we got online, and it was like all of a sudden I realized that my internet needed to be updated. The platform that we were on wasn't going to be able to record. I had to clear out my iCloud. Thank God she is one of my dearest and nearest, and she is also a Gemini. So she was able to troubleshoot and hang with me through 15 to 20 minutes of us catching up as our computers and our systems caught up with us. So you might notice places in your life where you have your energy, or you're trying to communicate yourself, that all of a sudden it's like, oops, here's what's out of alignment now. Here's what needs to be upgraded and updated. So that is another really great thing to do. I see a lot of people, again, not wanting to start anything, and that is understandable. But again, if it's something from the past, like I have a girlfriend who's looking to buy a car, and she's like, oh my God, Mercury retrograde, should I even buy a car in Mercury retrograde? Well, if it's been a manifestation that you've been wanting to see come to fruition for a while, and it's been something that's been building for a while, then you know you're fine. Just make sure you read your contracts and your agreements, which you should do anyway. But just let it pull focus on that. Let it make you more committed to protecting yourself and reading through the fine print on things. However, if you've been trying to buy a car for the past 6 months and trying to find the best car, and all of a sudden you find it, that's actually a Mercury retrograde blessing, not a Mercury retrograde fuckery. Congruently, if there's some part of you that gets a harebrained idea that you weren't planning on buying a car, but all of a sudden you want to, or you weren't planning on doing X, Y, or Z, and all of a sudden you've got this harebrained scheme and you're going to see it through. I wouldn't do that in any retrogrades. I don't even really think, if you're listening and you're in alignment with your spirit and the universe, that's even something that the universe lets you do. Mostly people get really frustrated with forward movement because, or striking out and making new advances is not normally the case. This is normally a time for retrograding, looking back on cycles, picking up blessings from before, completing manifestations from before, really taking a look at how you communicate yourself, what you're communicating about yourself, and is that congruent with the next best manifestation of you. So, Mercury is all about communication. If you've got shitty self-talk, belief systems that are out of alignment with your next step, emotional patterns that are no longer assisting you in your growth, if you have, mental patterns, emotional patterns, what else do we go around? Any physical stuff in your environment that's ready to go, it will feel extra illuminated. So this is a great time to, if you haven't already Marie Kondo'd your life, but you've been wanting to, just do it now. If there's even a closet in your life that is overly stuffed in your house or somewhere, if your business, there's a bunch of like papers and unreturned voicemails and you've got 2,000 or 3,000 emails or 30,000 emails, you might just want to, delete some of that stuff and figure out, your digital organization. And that's something that we don't really talk about a whole lot. The Marie Kondoing of your house and your home is really important, but there's also a minimalism in your digital life that will be nourishing to you if you kind of handle your digital world. So if there's like a Dropbox project that you've been meaning to do, or a website project that you've been meaning to clean up, or you want to go through all your photos and put them into different labels and sort of review the past year, this is a really great time to do it. It will be supportive. I say that. I say that as I just got done making changes to a web page and trying to organize something, and it totally shut me out and didn't save any of my changes. That happens, and it is really frustrating. But every time that happens to me, I tell you what, I get fiercer and I get clear about that I was probably coming from a disempowered place as I was writing that, or I was coming from a place that wasn't in my highest alignment, and I just take a breather and I come back to the project. Or if I'm really flowing and cruising, I will double save something. So if you're writing something on a web page, you're writing it on a social media platform, and it is hot fire gold, make sure you throw it in your email, throw it in your notes, put it in a document, and save all of that stuff. Speaking of, all of your writings that you've been doing, all the brilliant, beautiful energy that you've been sharing digitally, I hope you're compiling that for yourself. I hope that you look back on that, because all of us have really been guided to communicate in the digital realms and find each other. I personally have tons of beautiful collaborators and a bunch of friends all over the place who I consider to be just the light of my life because of the internet. So really giving thanks to the vehicles that we connect on nowadays. I know a lot of people have internet addiction, and a lot of people talk shit about the internet on a regular basis or think that it derails their entire life. And while that can be true, let's be really clear that the digital gods are not smiling upon you when you have a shitty feeling about them all of the time. Why not take this Mercury retrograde and give thanks for the connections that you've created? Otherwise, all of us weirdos and witches and queers and, shamans and tantrics and whatever, all of us folks who are out here living alternatively, helping the awakening process, helping and healing humanity and ourselves, making sense of the crazy deprogramming that's going on this planet, none of us would be able to communicate with each other. Look, I'm sitting in Portland, Oregon. You're where you are right now. And we're having an interaction. We're having a relationship. You're getting something from me. You're listening to this. That's a miracle. So why not put something on your altar that is, pro-internet, and put something on your internet altars, i.e. Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever, that is not just performatively positive, but truly a thank you to the digital gods and a thank you to that energy, because if we're just constantly feeding it this negativity, it becomes this juggernaut of negativity. If we feed into it a bunch of positivity and a bunch of light and a bunch of gratitude and a bunch of understanding that yes, there is darkness and that's as worthy and being worked out on the world stage as, you know, happy things, then we create a level of gratitude in that space that does actually heal the world. If you put out a pulse of gratitude to a platform that has billions of people on it, you're putting a drop into a bucket that can change the whole, it can change the whole game. And I see that every single time I do it. When I put genuine levels of gratitude out, I get so much back in return. My entire career is because of the internet. So, well, not my entire career, this career, being a psychic teacher online in the digital realms, absolutely is because I love the internet and because I don't let it be some horrible, distracting thing. I use it to connect with people, and I use it to show me things and educate me and sometimes overwhelm me in a fun way. And I know when to put it down when I need to. So, you know, on the other flip side of that, be sure you're taking breaks from your phone. When you feel like you're into a mind suck and your brain is melting and it's coming out your ear and you need to turn off Tinder, then just do it. Just shut your phone off and go for a walk and, you know, pet your animal or read a book or do something that isn't screen and phone related. And then when you come back to it, you'll be even more grateful that you put some positivity out there into that space, because now when you interact with it, you're going to get that reflected back to you. So that is my tip, and those are my tips for a fabulous Mercury retrograde. I hope that you have a great one. If you should need my help with any sort of shadow work, emotional integration, mental health issues, if you want to look at that from a different perspective, if you really want a holistic view and a holistic healing on your life, I would love to see you in for a psychic integration session. My client today said that it felt like a psychic chiropractic adjustment, and that I couldn't have said it better myself. Those psychic integration sessions are fabulous for, you know, getting your attention from all the exterior stuff where you feel like you have to fix and solve everything outside of yourself. It pulls your energy out of that and it pulls it into yourself, and you can see things from a larger perspective, from a broader perspective, and see how they all fit together and get actual practical intuition and guidance on how you're going to move forward. Every single one of those sessions is about pulling your energy inward, recognizing patterns, ending certain patterns, getting clear on certain lessons, and then finding the practical steps forward that is in alignment with your body, your emotions, your mind, your spirit, the whole 9 yards. So yeah, you can go to erinthepsychicwitch.com and book your session there. There's also an online class coming up on 3/22/19. It's a Friday night, 7 p.m. It's called Shadow Work, Emotional Healing for Empaths and Witches. I just taught a 12-week long certification program in shadow work because I wanted to help birth a class of healers that and helpers that has done their work and is really good at being able to midwife the darker energy instead of loving and lighting it to death. So if you are wanting to take a walk on your darker side, if you want to face some of the low vibe places within you and know exactly what to do and how to move in that space correctly so you can get to the healing and you can get to your expansion and you can get to your self-love instead of ricocheting off of it into more self-loathing or strange behavioral patterns to cope. I think we're all done doing that on this planet. So come on in and take that class. If you can't be there 7 p.m., Pacific Standard, Friday night, the 22nd. You can always watch that in the recording. If you are listening to this after that date, you can purchase that class by going to Erin the Psychic Witch /classes, I think. But you can get it from my homepage too. I think that's all I have for you. I love you guys. I hope that you're doing really, really well. I wish you the most return to blessings. I hope the most fantastical, cool things happen to you during Mercury retrograde. You deserve it. You are a being of light. You are having an ecstatic life experience, and you are here to experience everything. Lots of love. Big, bold love always. Bye.